So then I pulled my word cards that I've made, my own personal oracle deck, to see what we got. And the first two cards that came out were Ruthless, which is actually one of my favorite cards, and Sincere Motives. So this started to speak to me more about the people opposing you that might have shocked you. And so the message around this is to be gently ruthless. If people you found out they're messing with you, just very calmly and clinically say no thank you. Ruthlessly, without dilly-dallying, wondering whether you're doing the right thing. The right thing is, if you have sincere motives, is to just clinically and coolly and dispassionately, because that's how I see ruthlessness. It's not like stabbing. That's the way I prefer to interpret ruthless. Anyway, it's just like, I don't need to worry about this anymore. I'm making my decision and I know it's the right one. Sincere motives. So that seems to sort of work in with what we've got. The other two cards were quite interesting. Happy drinker. So I'll talk about this first. It's not actually about alcohol, although it can be. Hey, I love my gin. But this is a sort of a celebratory card, and it's one of balance. It's not like going crazy on a bender of whatever, not alcohol, not drugs necessarily. It could be a bender of self-indulgence in other ways, or even emotional self-indulgence. So this is a nice happy medium, and it is a happy card. It's a happy drinker, so there's some element of celebration to this. It's quite mixed because, you know, you need to deploy some ruthlessness to get to your celebration. And then we got steady finances as the other element to this today. So for some reason, dealing with these energies that come in, however surprising they may be, are actually going to lead to a steadiness. This is a steady happiness, and this is steady finances. So it really just comes back down to the finances and the abundance, the joy, if you like, that we see here. So don't be afraid to set boundaries and be ruthless, as long as you're sincere. And the sincere people, obviously, you will recognize. That's my interpretation. You might have a different interpretation based on what's happening around you, but that's what I'm seeing in this energy right now. And then I was directed to pull two tarot cards to complete the reading. The first one out was the Six of Swords. Now, I never used to like this card. I thought it looked grim. I thought they were sad people escaping. And well, in fact, they are. They are sad people escaping, but they're moving on to calmer waters. It is a card of hope that if there has been turbulence, you are leaving that behind. And that's frickin' thanks to this ruthlessness. Now, I had a little bit of a personal epiphany this weekend about boundaries and pain and when to assert your boundaries and how. When you try and live a spiritual life, if people cause you pain, your first instinct is to go, well, that's my wound. That's a trigger. I should heal that myself. Other people are not to blame. There's a temptation there to internalize this thing and go, right, well, this is my issue. And to a certain extent, that is true. But I did query this. We all learn about having good, strong boundaries, and that's a message I get from other readings directed at me, that I need better boundaries. So I was trying to figure out, how do you juggle putting up boundaries with taking responsibility for your own wound? And the answer I heard was, which made a lot of sense to me, if you go to a day spa for an exfoliating salt rub, the person giving you the salt rub, you're there kind of by consensual arrangement. You have a relationship with each other, and they're giving you a salt rub, and it feels great until it hits a wound. Then it's like, fucking ow, 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 ow. And no sane person would allow somebody to keep rubbing salt in their open wound without saying something. It's your duty to protect yourself from this kind of injury, whether that person has intention of hurting you or not. Intention, I mean, that's another topic which we won't go into here, but no one would just sit there and take the pain and think, well, it's up to me to get over this pain. Really, in the first instance, you have to say stop, and you owe it to yourself to step away so that you can heal without the additional trauma accumulating. So at the very least, that's where the boundaries come in. And I am actually coming back to a figure from my childhood, which is Linda Carter's Wonder Woman. She had the magic amulets that deflected the bullets. So this is how I see setting boundaries too. If people are hurt by you setting boundaries, I believe they are getting the rebound energy of the whatever bad vibes they're putting out at you. When you say no, stop, that's all back on them. And they can do with that what they will. They can look at themselves. They can, there's a reflection there that they've got to look into. So the boundaries don't have to be mean. They don't have to be nasty. But they have to be impermeable. They have to deflect everything. They have to be firm. So that's what I see about this combination of being ruthless and sincere. And it's a really good feeling, let me tell you. It is a good feeling. There is a calmness on the other side of that. And there is a relief. If somebody has, this did just happen to me, so if you get kind of a shocking realization that someone is openly opposing you, and you can actually set a firm boundary and walk away and say no thanks, the relief is enormous. And I believe this is the final step in opening up this receiving energy, because when you're fighting unknown energies or blatant energies, there's no room for abundance to come in, because your energy is focused on defending yourself. You put your force field in place, you get your boundaries right, and you put people on the other side of that boundary. And then suddenly you can sit back and be the empress and receive this energy, this lovely abundance, love and joy. It just starts, I can feel it already, flowing the fuck in, and I'm so grateful for that. And I really wish that for you guys too. And the final card that came out was the 8 of Pentacles. Now this is a card of hard work, reaping the rewards, and it's an abundance fucking card. So I'm just super stoked by this reading. What's the date today? I don't know, the 28th of August in New Zealand. But this is sort of broadly speaking, a week ahead. But it is a timeless reading whenever you stumble across it. If you're just browsing from some future time and space continuum and stumble across this message, perhaps it's meant for you. So anyway, I hope that gave you a little something. I might even be a little happy drinker myself this evening.